What's up, y'all? Sean of MassRock Tutoring here. Today we're going to talk about increasing and decreasing functions, and specifically, what we're talking about is we're kind of getting gradually into the nitty-gritty of how you can look at the first derivative of a function and determine whether or not that function is increasing or decreasing. Like going up versus going down. Okay, and so yeah, it's been a real kind of gradual kind of um foray into this. But I think gradual is good because of the fact that um if you really kind of get a deep understanding, then you have a strong foundation in calculus. Okay. Make sure you like and subscribe if you haven't already. All right. So here is the it's a test to determine if a function is increasing or decreasing. So two things. So if the first derivative, f prime of x, is greater than zero, then the function is increasing. So this is like on an interval. So I should say that. I should actually erase some of this. So if f prime of x, if the derivative is greater than zero on an interval, then f is increasing on that interval. Okay. Now, if f prime of x is less than zero on an interval, the function is decreasing on that interval. Okay. All right. So this is a test that with which you can use the first derivative to determine if a function is increasing or decreasing. Okay. Now I'm going to go through the proof of this, and it's a pretty simple proof, and it makes a lot of sense. All right. So say, for example, you have two numbers on an interval, the domain of a function. Say you have two um numbers on an interval such that two x values on an interval such that x1 is less than x2. So in other words, just like it could be x equal to 1 and x equal to 2, whatever it is. It's just that whatever x1 is less than x2, okay? Then you also have, okay, I'm gonna mark these with a bullet point. You have a given, you've been told that the first derivative on this particular interval um is greater than zero. Okay. So it's a positive first derivative. So obviously if the derivative on this interval is greater than zero, that means that this function is differentiable. In other words, you can take the derivative exists. Now, using something that we talked about I think my last calculus video, the mean value theorem. The mean value theorem states that f of x2 minus f of x1 is equal to f prime of c times x2 minus x1. Okay. So if you recall, and this is again the mean value theorem, if you want to go back over that video, then it's a calculus video that you can find in my video library. I just did it within the past short while. So basically, if you recall the mean value theorem, basically all it says is that there's a point, if you have a function on an interval, there's a point at which, so like from point A to point B, there is a point on that function where the slope of the tangent line, so like it's in other words like a tangent at some point on the function, which is like the derivative, is going to be equal to the slope of the secant line. In other words, if you were to find the slope, like y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So that slope of the secant line has to be equal to, at some point, the slope of the tangent line on that interval. Okay. So that's all that's saying. Okay. So now let's go ahead and use the mean value theorem to continue proving what we have here. So if f of x2 minus f of x1 is equal to the first derivative times x2 minus x1, consider this. We've been told that the first derivative is greater than zero, right? Also, it's worth saying that x2 minus x1 is also greater than zero. Why? Because we know that x1 is less than x2. So then x2 minus x1 also has to be positive. So that said, if the first derivative is greater than zero, the second derivative is greater than zero. In other words, both of these are positive. Then that means that this times this is also greater than zero. And therefore, since this is equal to f of x2 minus f of x1, f of x2 minus f of x1 is also greater than zero. Okay. Then finally, if we move this to the other side, then what you find is that the function at x2 is greater than the function at x1. This is the definition of an increasing function. Okay. Because what happens is you got, of course, x1, then x2. So, point x1 comes first and then point x2 comes second. So that means at x1, whatever the value of the function is, it is less than the value when you go a little bit further to x2. So that is showing an increasing function, and it proves that the whenever the derivative is greater than zero, then the function is actually increasing. Okay. And you can prove that a function is decreasing as well when the derivative is less than zero. So when the derivative is less than zero, um, of course, x2 minus x1 is still going to be less than x2. But what happens is if you look at where we were at this stage right here, then this x2 minus x1 is still going to be positive. Then this is going to be negative. So what happens is x2 minus x1 is going to be less than zero. Okay. And so that's going to flip this sign right here. So, well, not flip the sign, but in other words, the derivative, I mean, the function at x1 is going to be greater. And then that's going to actually prove that when the derivative is less than zero, the function is decreasing. Okay. So hopefully that's clear. If you want to go through that yourself, just plug in the derivative being less than zero, and then this part here where x1 is still less than x2, and then watch it show you that the function is decreasing when the derivative is less than zero. Okay. All right. Now let's go through an example. All right. All right. Here we go. Say, for example, we have the following function. F of x is equal to 3x to the fourth power minus 4x to the third power minus 12x squared plus 5. So we want to know where this is increasing and where this is decreasing. Okay. So now we're using the first derivative to figure this out based on what we're talking about in this video. So remember, the way that we determine whether a function is increasing or decreasing is you look at the first derivative and you see where the first derivative is greater than zero, that's going to tell you where it's increasing. You see where the first derivative is less than zero, that's going to tell you where the function is decreasing. So let's first find the first derivative. So find the derivative. Okay. So f prime of x is equal to 12x cubed minus 12x squared minus 24x, and then the derivative of 5 is 0, so there's nothing there. Now, if you look, we can actually we can do some factoring here. So you can factor out a 12x. So that becomes x squared, 12x times x squared minus x minus 2. Now, this polynomial here can be factored. This is 12x times what is negative 2? That'll add or subtract to give you negative 1. So that's going to be x minus 2, x plus 1. Okay, there you go. So here's the thing. What happens is, okay, next thing we want to do is we want to find where the derivative is equal to 0. And the reason why we want to find that is because if you recall us talking about like critical points and whatnot, those are points where the derivative is equal to 0, where it kind of flattens out. So we want to see when the derivative is equal to 0, we want to see what's happening on either side. Okay. We want to see if the derivative is greater than 0 or less than 0 on either side of where it equals 0, if that makes sense. Okay. So, so we're going to set the first derivative equal to 0. So that's going to be 12x times x minus 2, x plus 1 equals 0. And so that's going to be x equals 0, x equals 2, and x equals negative 1, right? Now, so we know, so we have a few intervals that are represented here. So what you have is you have when x is less than negative 1. I'm talking about on either side of um these critical points. So then you have also when x is, let me see. I didn't mean to write that like that. So next you have the interval between when x is equal to negative 1 and x is 0. And then finally you have the interval, not finally, but then you have x between 0 and 2. And then finally you have x greater than 2. So you have four different intervals that are represented here that we want to find what the derivative is looking like. So at all of these points, well, at these 3 points here, x is equal to z. I mean, the function, sorry, I meant to change the color. The function is equal to 0, right? So these intervals represent either side of where the function is equal to 0. And we want to test on either side to see if the derivative is greater than 0 or less than 0, okay? So now let's look at this here. So I'm going to rewrite the first derivative, which is f prime of x equals 12x um x minus 2 x plus 1. Now, let's look at this. So when x is less than negative 1, what happens? And I'm actually going to do something a little bit different here. I'm going to do like this, and I'm going to make it into like a chart, because what happens is we'll be able to see what we'll be able to see. So hold on. What happens is when we kind of see the behavior of the different parts of the function when x is less than negative 1, then we'll be able to ultimately see if the first derivative is less than or greater than 0. So when x is less than negative 1, this is going to be a negative number. When this is going to be negative. Oops. Let me do like that. And this is also going to be negative. Okay. So a negative times a negative is a positive times another negative is going to be a negative. Okay. So the first derivative is negative at x is less than -1. So that means it's decreasing here. So what about when x is between -1 and 0? So that means that it's still negative. So this is going to be negative. What about when this is going to be -2? Okay, because if it was 0, it would be 0 minus 2, which is -2. If it was -1, it'd be -3. So it's still going to be a negative number here too. What about here? When you get to the end point of this interval, when -1 plus 1 is 0, this is actually going to be positive. So a negative times a negative is a positive, times a positive is a positive. So at this part, the first derivative is increasing. I mean, it's greater than 0. So which means that the function I should do like this is increasing. Next, you have this interval. So that means on this interval, it is going to be positive here. This is also going to be positive. Well, actually, no, it's not. It's going to be negative. Sorry about that. And again, all I'm doing, y'all, is I'm considering if X fits this criteria and I plug in a value that represents this interval, would this be positive or negative? Okay, what about here? If X is between 0 and 2, this is going to be positive. So if you look here, a positive times a negative is a negative, times a positive is negative, which means it's decreasing here. And then finally, you have X greater than 2. So you're talking about positive here. This will be positive as well. This will be positive as well. So it goes without saying that the first derivative will be positive and the function will be increasing. Now you might want to, just for kicks, graph this on your graphing calculator and see what this function looks like. And you should already know, with it being an x cubed graph, that this is going to be one of those squiggly ones or whatever, like a typical x cubed graph or whatever. And so you'll kind of see, once you graph it, you'll just see how it looks. Hopefully, this is clear. Let me know what you think about this video and if it helps you to understand how the first derivative shows you whether a function is increasing or decreasing. Aside from that, don't forget to subscribe if you haven't already, and like the video, and have a good one. Hey, thank you for watching this video. If you need math tutoring or you need SAT math help, look in the description to find out how you can sign up today. Also, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so you stay in touch with Math Swap Tutoring on YouTube. Have a good one.